friends, welcome to this week's DFU. Today we are continuing with our 9th class in our Final Fantasy semester. If this is your first class, please get the F out. This is not an introductory level class.
Nope.
You need to have some prerequisites before you attend this class.
Yes.
Go get those by watching the first 8 videos and then show up. Because if you've watched those, you already know that I am your host and fellow student Kelsey. You already know this materia maestro Chris, who's about to teach us about what happens in Rocket Town. Chris, start us off, my friend.
Yes, Rocket Town. So, we're here. Rocket Town. Beautiful. It's probably the most advanced city you've ever seen. It kind of looks like Dubai. A lot like Dubai.
Does it explode randomly for fun?
Hashtag just kidding. It doesn't look anything like that. So.
Dubai doesn't match.
So, this is beautiful Rocket Town. As you can see, you got a weapon shop to the left and in to the right. I think Sid's house is the one that's closest to the rocket back there. And you notice that gigantic rocket that's just leaning and leaning and leaning.
And it appears it's ready to go up and then just decided to pizza it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny part is...
nice mountain ranges in the back, too. I'm impressed. Continue.
Right. And these are all hand-drawn pictures, remember? Whenever they made this game, it's all hand-drawn backgrounds. Anyways, so... The interesting thing about this, which you can't see, but whenever they first launched the rocket, it went up and then it came back down due to something that we're about to get into here in a minute. But these houses weren't around. It was like out in a normal field. They chose to come and build these houses underneath this fucking rocket. Yeah, makes no sense.
I like that human stupidity kind of carries through into our video games. That's quite pleasant.
Now, I don't know which house it is because it's been a little while since I went and looked for this Easter egg, but... What I will say is that there's only 6 houses here, as you can see. So it won't take you that long. But for the players at home, if you look on the walls of the houses as you're going through, one of them you will see a very small picture in a golden picture frame. I think it's golden. And it's a very pixelated picture, but it is actually a picture of the director of the game. He wanted to put himself inside of a Final Fantasy game, and he chose Final Fantasy VII to do it. So there is a picture of him just smiling inside one of these houses in Rocket Town. It's the only Easter egg like that in Final Fantasy VII, and it's in Rocket Town. Don't remember which house it is. I want to say it's the one all the way to the left, but I could be wrong. So, go look for it. It's a pretty cool little fact. Anyways, moving on. So, Rocket Town. We get there, we automatically see the rocket. You can kind of fuck around, get some weapons here, sleep, rest up. You can get some materia, some accessories. And then move forward, obviously, towards the rocket. So that house that's kind of in the middle-ish, so if we're looking at left, right, 3 houses on the left, 3 houses on the right, the last house on the left has got the green, yellow sign-ish thing on it. There will be an old man standing out there. If you talk to him and just talk to him about the rocket for a little while, he gets happy that someone's talked to him, and he will give you a weapon. Anyway, so you talk about the rocket, and they say, yeah, it just sucks, it feels bad for the captain. I always feel bad for the captain. So now you kind of want to meet this captain. So basically, what you know is that Sephiroth is heading overseas going towards the North Crater. In order to do that, we need a ship. So we came to Rocket Town. We need to borrow a ship from the so-called captain. So we're like, where can you find the captain? Well, he's probably up in the rocket. So we make our great climb, go all the way up into the rocket to meet the captain, the man, the myth, the legend, the Cid.
He has legs for days. Oh my god. Look at how short his torso is.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got a neck into legs.
He's a jumper character too, which is kind of funny.
Ha.
So
love it.
A lot of his super attacks deal with him jumping through the air with that halberd coming down on top of him. So, our spear, I guess is what he's using right now. Anyways, so that's Cid. It's actually funny that you said lovable because he's probably quite the opposite of that. So,
is he a shit?
Yes, he is. He is very loud, and he's probably the main character that cusses. I mean, you thought Barrett was loud and cusses and obnoxious. Cid is a completely different level. So, anyways, Cid.
So far, I love him. Keep going.
You won't, but we're getting there. I mean, he's got redeeming qualities, but his first little whole thing right here, it's kind of you don't blame him 100%, and then you kind of he's kind of a dick though. So it's kind of a back and forth thing. It's a love-hate relationship with El Cido over here. Anyways, so back to what we were just talking about, which is that we go up to go talk to him because we're trying to ask him if we can borrow his ship called the Tiny Bronco is the name of his ship. We want to take the Tiny Bronco and we want to use it to go track down Sephiroth, which he instantly says, I do not have time to talk to you guys about this, which, by the way, just so that way you can see it, here's some pictures of the Tiny Bronco and what it looks like. He's like, I don't have time to talk to you guys right now. The president of Shinra is coming to Rocket Town to discuss reopening the space program. And then Sid goes on to tell us about how his dream is to be the first man in outer space. He has been a captain for forever, has flown plenty of ships, but he wants to pilot into the great unknown. He wants to go where no man has gone before. He wants to be the first man in space, and that is his dream. And then he goes, and it would have happened too if it all wasn't for that damn Shira. This is the first time we hear Shira's name.
Okay.
And then also, because I want to throw this in here too, because I showed you like the cool Nanaki background, which I should show you every character's background, which I'll look up those while we're going through, and I'll throw those in the video too, so that way people can see them. But this is actually Sid's like cool little background. It's him sitting on a tiny Bronco looking at the rocket when it first got installed.
I love that.
Right?
He's still lovable. He hasn't dropped out of that yet.
Oh man, Sid is a cool character, and once again, like I said, this is a character that they put in every Final Fantasy. It's not the same guy, but same name.
Mm-hmm. Same name.
So, anyways, moving forward. So this is the first time we hear Shira. He's like, if I would have been for her, I would have accomplished my dream. I would have went to space. Da 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 da. So then we end up moving to Sid's house to go see if we're possibly going to try maybe steal the Tiny Bronco, because right now we need to stop Sephiroth at all cost, or the Earth's going to die. So we can't really, be like, stealing's bad, because yeah. We're all going to die. So we go steal the Tiny Bronco. When we get there, we run into Shira, who is at Sid's house. And she comes out, and there seems to be something between Shira and Sid. Don't really know if they're in a relationship, but they definitely live together. And this is Shira. She doesn't actually have any artwork outside of that, so that's all I can show you is what she looks like in the game.
I like her too so far.
So that's Shira. And she says, but you can go take a look at the Tiny Bronco. So you walk out, you go look at the Tiny Bronco in the backyard, and you're just exorbitant and shit like that. Then you're getting ready to steal it, and then all of a sudden you hear, the president is here, the president is here. So you come back inside. Or no, you hear Sid yelling. He comes in the house, and he's automatically yelling. He's like, damn it, Shira, why you just let strangers into the house? Da, 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 da. And so then they all come back in. And he's all like, how come you haven't made them any tea? Damn it, Shira, get your head out of your ass. Make some damn tea for the guests. Yeah, he's a bit of a dick.
Okay, I'm not impressed with him anymore. Fuck that noise.
Yep, the lovable aspect is starting to disappear. I told you it would.
Yep, gone.
Anyways, so she starts making the tea and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you hear, the president is here, the president is here. So then he gets up and goes outside to talk to the president. Cloud and them were like, we really need to take the Tiny Bronco and get out of here. But Tifa kind of wants to know, if you ever on a team, someone will want to know, but Tifa is normally the person. Well, kind of wants to know, like, what's going on between you and Sid? Like, what's going on here? And so she tells us everything was ready to go, and the rocket's getting ready to launch. All of a sudden, he hits the button. Rocket's launching into the air. So we're back in time here. I guess I just said that. We're back in time. Rocket is launching. Sid's about to accomplish his dream. He starts rising, or getting ready to rise off the panel. The rocket's starting to turn its boosters on. And then all of a sudden, he hears Shira say, okay, I think everything's good to go, but I have one more tank to test. He's like, what are you talking about? Where are you at? And she goes, I'm in the thrusters right now. And he goes, if you're in the thrusters, you're going to die. What are you talking about? She goes, well, I just can't go off without this one tank. It hasn't been checked properly. It could be damaged, and then you might not make it back. He's like, damn it, Shira, get out of the ship now. You're going to die. And the ship starts to take off, and it starts to go up, and she's not able to get out in time. She's like, it's okay. As long as I know that everything's going to be all right, you'll be able to make it back. It's fine. I'm not that worried about it. And he's all like, damn it. And then they're like counting down. They're doing the countdown. They're 10, 9, da, 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 da. And they get to 1, and the ship goes to go up. and then he immediately hits the stop button and shuts off the rockets, and it falls back down, and then that's how the ship kind of got to the point where it's leaning, and it's slowly leaning more and more and more. Since something so little is the reason why he stopped the ship, Shinra decided to then not fund the spaceship program anymore.
Aww.
Therefore killing his dream and him never being able to go to space. So you kind of see why he's a dick. He still shouldn't be a dick, but you kind of understand why there's a love-hate relationship between them, because she also doesn't have nowhere to live, and he lets her live in his house. So he doesn't hate her, or he would have just let her burn, honestly. But
yeah.
But there is a redeeming quality that happens a little later, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But now is his big chance to possibly get the space program going. When they stopped the space program, he positioned for them to try and do it again, but that's when they started to find out that Mako energy could be condensed into materia and energy to power the planet, and they thought it was better spent to put their money there versus relaunching a failed space program. And I think the name of the rocket is Shinra 26. Shinra number 26, I think, is the name of the rocket. Not 100% sure on that, but I think I'm sure on that. Anyways, so he goes outside to see the president. Cloud knows that they can't let the president come back in. So now we go outside. We're talking to the president, and we're talking to Sid. Or well, they're not going out, but we're looking at Sid and the president talking. And Sid's like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. You know, let's go up, take a look at the rocket. I've been doing what I can to make sure she's nice and neat and ready to go on the inside. Obviously, when we go blast off all this moss and shit will be gone. So we'll be good to go. And Rufus is like, I'm glad that you're excited about the space program, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to commandeer the tiny Bronco so I can go hunt down Sephiroth, who is heading towards the North Crater. So now we're finally starting to get the real feel that Sephiroth is not just being chased by Cloud now, but is hardcore starting to be chased by Shinra.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Shinra is getting a lot of the information that the group is finding out, and Shinra just seems to be a step behind them, if not a step ahead of them, every step of the way.
So we've got more evidence of a mole.
Possibly. So, that being said, obviously Sid's not happy about this in the slightest and starts going off on the president. Cloud and them run out to the tiny Bronco and like, we'll just steal it now. Then there's no way the president can get it. Then we can get over there and stop Sephiroth. They go outside, and unfortunately for them, Mr. Palmer is outside, who is the head of the space program at Shinra, the one that doesn't exist anymore. And this is our friend, Mr. Palmer. He is a Shinra executive. And you get into a fight with him. So then you have to fight Mr. Palmer, which his gun shoots different. You're a Ruby fan. You've seen Ruby. So it's kind of like White. Yeah. It's kind of like Weiss's revolver with the dust.
Oh, cool.
His is like that with materia.
Okay.
So he can shoot different levels of different kinds of materia at you and do the effects without actually having to put it in his body and shit like that.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool. But you end up fucking him up, and then he goes to run away from you, which then he gets ran over by a truck, which is pretty funny. Well, it doesn't kill him, but it just hits him and he goes flying, which is pretty funny, as always. And the team jump on a tiny Bronco. Tiny Bronco starts to go up, flips around, goes over the house, and as it's going over the house, Rufus looks up, says, quick, take the plane down. The plane gets shot. The back left tail goes out. They start coming down for almost a crash into Rocket Town. But as they're doing it, the man, the myth, the legend, the Sid, jumps onto the back of the ship, recorrects his course, takes it off into the air, and is all like, well, he wasn't going to restart the space program, so fuck him. I guess I'm with you guys now. And that's how Sid basically joins the team.
Oh, okay. So based off of all that information, I think he has good morals. But he's probably a little bit of a dick. Maybe. I still, except for the way he treats her, I'm still kind of out on that one. And he's definitely out for himself.
He's definitely out for himself. That's for sure. So
don't call women bitches. I'm not serving the shit.
Right. So that being said, oh shit, I was gonna add something to what you said about Sid. Fuck, and I can't think about it. Either way,
Hey, you have extra power. You can add
I got it. It wasn't necessarily too much about it, but one of the things that he said in the rocket ship that I forgot to say was, I don't know what's going to happen first, whether this rocket's going to fall over and crush everybody and kill us all, or I'm actually going to make it out of this town. So he pretty much viewed like space being the end of his life. Like he literally has nothing left to do anymore. So, yes.
So it's like a revenge character when they finally get revenge and they're just like, well, now I have nothing to do with myself. Same kind of thing?
Somewhat. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's looking for revenge. He's just extremely upset because his dream got completely destroyed.
Yeah, so. I was drawing a parallel,
but I got you.
Actually calling him a revenge character. Yeah.
So they crash land into the ocean right outside of Wutai, which we've talked about Wutai a little bit, right outside of Wutai. And now the plane is usable, but this is that thing where we talked about where now you can go certain places because you have a different vehicle. The plane is used as a boat. The propellers move it through the ocean, but it's only allowed to do this in shallow waters. So you can't go deep and you can't go too far off the coast. So it allows you to go to like Wutai and shit like that because the coast kind of touches, but not 100%, but it touches enough for the plane. So like the way it looks on the map, it's like the water's dark blue and then there's light blue water edges around, so it can stay within the light blue. It can't go in the dark blue.
Okay. So it's very Civ 5.
Sure.
Okay. Then, like, I'm sorry. What's the damn logic there?
Well, it's the only way to get you over to Wutai at the moment. And because the ship that you get later on that can actually fly, they don't want you to have yet.
Okay.
Because
so they're just
you could
making it work.
You could use it to get you to places that you can't necessarily get to right now, because you definitely should not have a golden chocobo at this moment. And could get you some very strong shit that's just going to basically destroy everything that's even close, remotely close in your way at the moment. So
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and that will end our short episode. Sorry, guys, it's a short one today. We're on a time crunch. But that will end our short episode of Rocket Town. And the next episode, we'll have Yuffie. And then that'll be the entire team. And after I give you Yuffie's backstory, Kelsey will be forced to choose who her favorite character is so far. And then at big moments where there's shifts, we'll check in to see if that character's still the same. And it will be behind her like Cloud is behind me. So
I'm glad I get to shift it. I don't just get to choose somebody and then find out they're a mole and an asshole.
At the very end of the game, you for sure will be able to choose who your overall favorite Final Fantasy VII character was. Good guy, bad guy, doesn't matter. Who your overall was, who the main person that like just resonated with you, your favorite character, and that's who'll go behind you. Obviously, you can't have Cloud. Fuck off.
It's going to be Vincent. Everything in me is telling me it's going to be Vincent. I think we're soulmates.
I could see that. I could see that.
Oh, screw you, Chris.
I could see that.
Vincent's a melodramatic twat. I am not interested.
But yeah, so that pretty much does it for that. There's really not too much to say about Sid, so we'll go ahead and skip the whole, like, give me the character, because that's pretty much his entire backstory of the game, and the only other cool, really big fact about him is the fact that he's in every Final Fantasy. We've already talked about that as well. So other than that, there's really not too much to know. His last name is Highwind.
Oh, good.
Which is actually the name of the ship you get at the very end of the game, the one that I've kind of already referenced a couple times, and I didn't really want to talk about it until we got to Sid. So his last name is Highwind. That's the name of the ship, which is the Highwind, which is pretty funny because in the movie, whenever he pulls up in the new version of the Highwind and he jumps out in the movie, that's that thing that I said when he drops down. And Tifa's like, "You're here," and he's like, "I gave you the grand tour afterwards." Like, it's so fucking. That's how he talks to. It's great. I love him. I love Sid. He's so great. But yeah,
cute.
He's probably, although I say that, Sid. It's probably a tie between Sid and Barrett on who is my least favorite out of the heroes. Like, if I have, because you have to choose teams in this game, and there's one point where you have to make a team with everybody, and there's not even numbers, so it's a team of 3, a team of 3, and a team of 2. Because, well, we might as well go ahead and talk about this. So no, this is more towards the viewers. So we did an episode for E3. And something very big got spoiled for Kelsey.
God damn it. Yes.
Something extremely big got spoiled for Kelsey. And what I'm saying, people know. I'll go ahead and say it by its title because Kelsey knows the title of this. But with Aerith dying, obviously the teams aren't even. So it's a 3-3-2. I will say this. She does not know how she dies. She also does not know when she dies.
Not a clue.
And she also doesn't know where she dies. She just knows that she dies. So there's still enough. There's still enough mystery there that I still think it will be impactful when that scene finally comes. So,
which, to be clear, if you want to be a dick and throw it in the comments below, Chris will not allow those comments to show up until after I've been educated.
That is correct. That is very correct. Will not happen. So, still some hope, but unfortunately, I did not fill in our special guest star that,
fucking Tony.
We weren't there yet.
Ruined all. He spoiled all kinds of stuff. Fucking Tony.
To be fair, most of the stuff he spoiled is pretty fucking old at this point. So.
Oh yeah, that's not the point.
I did go back.
How old it is.
I did go back and watch it because I got to Discord with him, and he legit felt bad.
Oh,
but he did say that he's like, just the way she was talking about it, I thought that she had played the game. So I went back and listened, and it, like, just listening to it from that standpoint, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, because you literally go, like, I know I don't know everything about Final Fantasy, but, like, just from what I do know about Final Fantasy VII, like, I would literally play this game. Like, you did sound like you knew what the fuck you were talking about. So then he was like, oh, by the way, that's not going to be a spoiler alert. And then everybody was like, God damn it, Tony. Well, at least me and you were. Bree didn't know where the fuck we were at either, because Bree also doesn't know anything about that, so.
She should watch the DFU.
Yeah, good fucking luck.
I'll beg, I'll plead, I'll threaten to cry. She'll watch 5 minutes and then tell me she watched the whole
thing. When we first scheduled this, the very first episode, she signed up to be on it as a secondary student. She signed up to be on it, and then once she found out it was Final Fantasy VII, she quickly backed the fuck out. So, like I said, good luck. Good luck. Final Fantasy VII is amazing. All right, it's just great. Everybody should play this fucking game. It's great. We're getting there. I mean, I feel at this point we haven't gotten the last character yet, but since the last character is kind of optional anyway, I feel at this point it's a good point since we really didn't get to talk about the character, and I know we're running low on time here. What is an overall rating right now? Just based off of the little bit of story you've gotten. So you've gotten some character arcs to the fullest. We've gotten Barrett's character arc to the fullest. We've gotten Nanaki's character arc to the fullest. You're knowing a little bit more about Cloud and a little bit more about, certain people. Where are we kind of sitting at rating wise? Be truthful, brutally honest. Where are we sitting at rating wise?
Truthful, brutally honest. And are we rating my interest in the game?
Your interest in the game.
Interest in the game. Okay. 1 being like, I'm done with this, and 10 being like, give me the game right now.
Sure, 10. Why not? And by 10. Give me the game, you're talking about the remake.
Probably. At this point, I'm interested in it enough. I might actually fight through the cubes, but...
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Yeah. Let's put it this way. If there was no remake, would you still be wanting to play this game? With your current level of interest that you have now in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah? Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like
I would be slightly embarrassed. I'd be like, yes, I'm going to go play this game with horrible graphics because I'm pretty sure the story is amazing. And yes, I already know the story, but I'm pretty sure play it.
There is a different feel whenever you play it, for sure. There's 100% a different feel when you play it. I can only do it so much justice. The game itself speaks for its fucking self. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. The game's fucking phenomenal. So, but I'm glad you're at least interested in it to the point where you're enjoying this and this isn't like chore for you to do. So that's good.
Oh no. Every week when we record these things, I'm really excited to show up and learn more, and I'm really enjoying it.
I mean, like I said, we haven't even finished the first disc yet. Like, this game is massive. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of shit going on, and like now we're about to get the last character, and her arc is pretty much done right away as soon as we get hers. Like, literally the next episode we do will be getting her and her entire arc all in one go. Once again, she was an optional character. Her story doesn't really tie too much into Cloud and what's going on now. But back before this whole situation happened, when Soldier was kind of like new-ish, not too new-ish, but new-ish. It was like when Cloud joined Shinra in the war to then become Soldier was during the Wutai War, where Wutai was going to war with the entire of Gaia, basically, everybody else. So during the Wutai Wars, when Cloud joined the army, her stuff ties into more of that, which is more stuff that takes place in Crisis Core. So we'll get a little bit more of how she kind of ties into it, but we will get her full backstory next episode during the Wutai episode. That will happen for sure. So.
Oh, good. Well, friends, that's going to actually wrap up our 9th class. This was a shorter mentioned, so hopefully we'll give you either a little we'll give you more. Just keep showing up. Keep showing up. You're here because you love the story or you want to love the story. So keep showing up.
Mm-hmm.
If you heard anything you want to interact with, please jump into the comments. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what stuff you love. Keep your spoilers to yourself.
Yes.
Tony, keep your spoilers to yourself. We won't let those show up just because we'll watch the. Well, Chris will watch those like a hawk. I won't do that. But if you enjoyed this content, please like this video. Please subscribe to our channel. That's really helpful to us. And then turn on those notifications so you know when to come to class.
Yep.
And if you want to contact us directly, our Twitch links and our Twitter links are below, and we'd love to see you on there as well. In the meantime, we'll see you in the next class. Bye, friends.